Go ahead.
War, what is it good for? And KPI, one of my acronyms, or I should say alphabet soups. It's going to be good stuff now.
Oh man, I'm waiting on this man. War. And don't forget, we need to talk about a recession that nobody wants to talk about. Okay, see you at the show. Bye.
Welcome to the TED Ed Podcast, where we delve into the issues that shape our daily lives and drive our productivity. We confront topics that matter deeply to all of us, from healthcare and affirmative action to voting rights and monetary success and failure. We cover it all. And yes, we dive into the complex world of politics, exploring how our country has evolved from slavery to the 21st century. Our content is crafted with care and expertise, drawing from years of experience in these critical areas. We invite you to give the TED Ed podcast a listen. You won't be disappointed. Share your thoughts with friends and confidants, and don't forget to like, comment, and share our episodes. Your engagement helps us grow and reach more listeners. Are you passionate about these topics? Do you have unique insights to share? You could be one of our guest speakers. Drop us a line, send an email, or leave a comment. All requests will be considered. Join us on this journey of exploration and understanding. This is the TED Ed Podcast. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Hey, people, we are here. We are here. We are here. Mm, mm, mm. I didn't think I'd be talking about this soon, but I guess it's something else, man. We got our president said he don't want to talk about a recession, but he knows it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. This is a recession. It's coming. He done jacked us around and did everything he could, and now he got a recession that he's talking about. Plus, in this is the 4 days we have
But
a
it's
budget.
Biden's fault now.
What? It's
It's
Biden's
going to be
fault.
Biden's
I'm
fault.
sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm Biden. Joe, what did you do, Joe? What did you do, Joe? But knowing the Donald, it doesn't matter. He got Joe. He got a couple other folks he's gonna start to blame about anything going on. He got Elon. He gonna blame. Shoot, they can all just stand in line. Our Secretary of State, he say he gonna blame him if he has to. He gonna have to take the fall because it's never gonna be Trump's fault. No, sir. Oh man, I tell you, we got a excellent show today. So let's get the rolling here, brother. What's up?
Well, I wanted to talk about war because I've always wondered why did 47 talk about taking over Canada?
I heard that, but go ahead.
There's a reason behind it, bro. And it's a historical thing. Now, you're a history buff. I'm sure you probably read it or researched it somewhere down the line. But, the French and Indian War,
That's a long time ago.
oh, yeah,
Go ahead.
1812. 1812. But really, it's a misnomer. It was a French and Indian War. No, it wasn't. It was a French and Great Britain war. Because the Indians, they were tribes. And so some of them were fighting with the French, some of them was fighting with the British. So that was a divide in these tribes because the tribes always war against each other anyway. So, and the thing was that they're trying to take over the country. They're trying to take over territory because it was great land. They liked the land. The British liked the land. The French liked the land. They just loved America. At the same time, North America, which we are North America, right? Well, Canada was in that groove, bro. Canada was in that group. They wasn't even an established country. We was barely 1812. We was barely a country. We was trying to take over a lot of the South and Louisiana and all that stuff. So, I'm trying to put it where third grade can understand it. So the point is that here we are fighting, and let me remind you, there were African people, or what we call African American people, that was in that groove too, on both sides. Freemen, they called them freemen.
Mm-hmm.
So these people were fighting against each other and trying to take territory, and it's a long, involved scenario, or I should say storyline, because it kept on being other wars behind that, and people in the United States, George Washington was all involved. He was just a young man, and so he strategized and, becoming the general, and then eventually the commander-in-chief. But the bottom line is that these people consistently, the French and Indian War was 1754 to 1763. So that tells you that America wasn't even established then. And they was trying to take over territory. There was some places that they was establishing different countries, different states and what have you. They haven't even unified yet. So there were people that was trying to get land all over, coming here, and because it was fertile land. So now I haven't digged any further, but if you look at, somebody is telling this man that we need Canada, because they're not really a country, because they have different territories and different areas, but they unify as Canadians. And so they fought because they're, like a large language that they speak in Canada is French. So a lot of French people lived up in Canada and all those different districts. So that's why you had, and then also the French got along real well with all the different natives. And Americans couldn't stand the Indians. They wanted them out. So anyway, that's just part one. That's all I want to talk about that. The next thing is KBI. What in the world is that KBI stand for? Key Performances Indicator. Key, K-E-Y, Performances Indicator. This is what these job people are doing now. These major corporations, where they can look and tell every breakdown of what the company is doing, and they get these analytical people to come in, and they basically can rate each one of the portions of their thing. Now, some of the key things that they look at is financial, customer service, process, sales, and marketing metrics. Now, there's many more. There's about 10 or 15 more. But these 5 points are the key to their success in the corporate world. And they all set goals in these corporate worlds. So like if you're in the sales department, last month you sold, for example, this many tires. Well, in order for us to be successful and make a profit, we got to sell not 1,000 tires. We got to sell 5,000 tires. And then they set those goals and they tell those salespeople, your goal used to be 200, now it's 400. And if you don't make that, you don't get no commission. And so those salespeople get out there and hustle and make those sales. And that's their goal. Customer service, same thing. Financial. Their goal is, hey, we have to have money coming in and we got to get capital. Your job is to find capital and money coming in. The marketing department, same thing. So all of this KPI, if you work for a corporation, and a lot of us do, a lot of people wondering, well, what's going on? Why come? What you got to do is you got to find out what your metrics is. You got to find out what your goal is, and then you meet those goals. I worked in a bank. I have goals to make, and I had to make those. If I don't make it, I don't get a commission. When I worked in advertising sales, I had a goal to make, and if I don't do that, I don't get a big quarterly check. So all of these things, when I worked in insurance, if I didn't make my goals, I didn't get a commission. And if you don't get a commission in 2 or 3 quarters, you're out of there. Because you got to make that goal and those commissions. So I wanted to bring that up because a lot of people saying, well, I was working at such and such and I got fired. Well, the reason why you got fired because you wasn't reaching the goals. You got to get understanding what you're supposed to be doing. If you're in customer service, you need to get good reports from each one of the clients that you talk to. Each one of those customers you talk to, hey, I need you to give me 100. Did I give you good service? Yes, sir. You gave me good service. Okay. I'm gonna send you some information and then you fill it out. And then boom, give me 100. And then that's how you get your score because you gave them good service and the corporation gonna look at you and say, hey, he's one of our best customer service people, or he's one of our best marketing people, or he's one of our best financial people. Now, that's how you survive in the corporate world. That's it. That's all I got.
That's all you got? Oh man,
Yeah.
that was short. That was about 11 minutes. Less than 11 minutes. I thought you had at least a half hour.
Well,
But
I can go on and talk
no,
more
no,
about the
no,
war. I mean, I can talk about the war, all the 4 wars that really messed us up. And I'm gonna tell you the one thing that I was really fascinated about, bro, is how how these Europeans and these Portuguese people and these Brazilian people got over, and these European people. Because, one of the people that really got over that was really successful back in the early 1700s, was one of the most successful countries, was the Dutch people. Because what they did was they recruited 1.7 million slaves to do their labor. And they became very, very rich. They got so rich, they started going into other countries, like the Caribbeans. They came here to the United States, started buying up land. And if you look at the ethnic group or different things of where the Dutch people are, a lot of the Dutch people are rich. I used to work in a Dutch community in California. I'm telling you, bro. And then the Portuguese, the same thing, which is conjacent to Spain. And so these people use slavery as a come up using cheap labor, no labor. I mean, no, that wasn't cheap labor. It was no labor. I mean, they didn't pay for labor. They just treated them like dogs too. Treated them like cutting people's hands off and foot off if they didn't work and meet the goals and all that kind of stuff. So how these people got rich. Same thing with America. America, the same thing. You know, they used us the same way. You know, and that's how they got their wealth. Cheap labor. Well, what are they doing now? They use the Latino, the Mexican people, which I don't understand why the Mexican people allow it, because they know industry. You know, they know industry. You know, and I don't understand that, but that's another story. I mean, we can get off on that later. But what I'm saying is that war was about takeover, and they tried to take over this country. And let the truth be told, that's what they're trying to do now. That's exactly what they're trying to do now. Because we got a lot of infiltrators in there that's coming from other countries, that's in the House, that's in the Senate, that's in business.
Well, each decade and stuff, from what I've been seeing and what I've been using and stuff, is that it really, uh, I guess, tore us all apart and everything, is when George Bush and stuff used the war in Iraq to gain whatever he wanted to gain. He wanted to start a war because they wanted that oil. uh, so he was the one, I guess, that really got this thing going. But if you look at what's going on nowadays and everything, I don't believe Trump really understands exactly what the heck to do. I don't. I think that he is a chaos person and stuff and everything, and he just thrives and stuff in the chaos, and he doesn't care. He just bouncing back and forth and has no idea what the heck he's doing. So, and everybody is starting to notice it now. He's going wishy-washy. Oop, you go here, you go there, you go here, he goes there. But if you look back when George Bush Jr., the second George Bush, his son, Bush's son, and everything, he had a purpose in mind and stuff of what he did. And that purpose was to get that oil in Iraq by any means necessary. And he stayed on that path. He did not get off that path at all. He stayed on that daggone path, even though they found out many years later and everything that he lied about going into that war. But most everybody knew, even in 2001, that he wanted that war and stuff because they wanted that oil that came out of Iraq. They just lust for the oil. They couldn't go to Saudi Arabia and get it because Saudi Arabia was too powerful. So they figured that they pick up the easiest bait, and that was Saddam Hussein. They got him. They went over there and dogged him out, took his country and stuff from him, and started getting that oil and raping that country up. And wow, he wound up doing some damage to our country too at the same time. But with this guy right here, Ted, I don't believe he knows what they do. I don't believe he understands history. I don't believe he knows about what happened back, when the Dutch was doing their thing and the British was going out and they were conquering territories and had colonies and stuff all over the world. He has no idea and stuff what the heck is going on. All he knows is that he needs to create some chaos. He went up there to Greenland, wanted to try to create chaos up there. Send his son up there to act a damn fool. And he came back here and everything. Oh yeah, these people welcome us, but all he did was buy some people and stuff, made them stand in the daggone group just like he always does and stuff, and say, hey, these folks want us here. And Greenland didn't no more want them, and they wanted to shoot themselves in the head. He then come back and he's talking about conquering the Panama Canal. Now we know that the United States had helped to build that Panama Canal because we had to use it and stuff because it was a necessary evil at that time, and There's a lot of lives and stuff were cars and stuff. Because of that, we lost a whole lot of people and stuff, but they finally got that thing built. And Jimmy Carter decided, after so many years and stuff and everything, that he was going to see the Panama Canal back to the people of Panama. Because they were there. He had a reason for doing that. Most people didn't understand it, but he was the president at that time. So he said, I'm going to give it back to you guys, because in essence and stuff, he was telling the Panamanian country that, hey, we've made our profits and our money off of it and everything by allowing ships to go through there. They were making goo gobs of money and stuff even back then. So he said, hey, we got our money back. We've been paid and stuff for it. So here you are. We're sending it back to you guys. And that allowed Panama and stuff to start gaining revenue from that canal. Well, now all of a sudden Trump wants to go down there and say, hey, this is our thing in Panama. And he was just playing. Because right now, if you ask him about the Panama Canal, he would look at you and say, what are you talking about? Because this man he's just wishy-washy. He has no idea what the heck he's doing. And man, he's just, I don't know. And he has folks and stuff that follow him. They're following that old boy through the gates of hell. And then he goes up and creates a tariff war with our friends, with Mexico, with Canada, and sets up and looked the media in the face and said, I've been looking at that agreement that was signed, and it was the worst agreement in the world that this country ever signed. And the media just sit there and watched him say it. But he was the one that negotiated the damn thing. He negotiated it. But it was the worst agreement in the world. But I guess he just said, well, if I can just sit there and lie, these folks will not catch the lie. So it is, and this calamity has created a chaos and stuff in the markets, in the stock market. They don't know where to go up and down. He opened his mouth and stuff and said that he was going to start using cryptocurrency and stuff and everything as part of our financial power that we're going to have. And he was going to have a Fort Knox called cryptocurrency. When he said this stuff, crypto was trading at about $90,000. 90 down there almost. Last time I looked, it was $70,000. That stuff, man, the lost $15,000 a coin as soon as he opened his mouth. Any other president, Ted, who would have said that probably would have sent that market to sky high. Come January, I don't know if you remember, man, cryptocurrency was what? Almost what? $105,000 a coin? 106. Now it's trading down at 70-some thousand dollars a coin. And it dropped, and as soon as he opened his mouth, it dropped even further. People don't trust him. He done sent our stock markets crazy. and you ask him about it, he gonna tell you there's nothing wrong. We can't operate this country, Ted, in chaos and be able to be. Let's go back here.
Ed, do you know, I'm going to ask you a question.
KPI,
Let me ask you a question.
performance indicator. He'd have lost his job by now. They would have thrown him out, Ted, if he depended on his KPI. Go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna tell you what's going on. My opinion, of course, I might be wrong. These people that is in the corporate world, I'm talking about the traders, not trader, but traders. These people love this chaos.
Hmm.
This is how they make their money because it makes people go in and out of the market. They say, "Oh, I'm losing money. Sell. Oh, put it in this." Then it drops. So by the time you finish, let's say you had $1 million, now you got 700,000.
Mm-hmm. You done lost $300,000.
Right. So the point is that they love this because see, when things are going smooth and you can depend on the president, he ain't gonna do nothing stupid. They only gonna get 2% of their, commission. They ain't gonna, there are people out there, they depend on their stocks to go up 15 and 20%. And some of those people, some of those companies do give them 10 or 15%, but then the client wants that every year. Well, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen because your rate of your business is not gonna grow that fast. Businesses don't grow that fast. You're lucky if your business go 3, 4, 5% every year. So what happens is the more the chaos, the better, because then those people that invested their money, hey, that's just the way the stock market goes. They want chaos. That's what they want, bro. This is the game. And they using Trump as that chaos. They can sit up there and say, oh, well, oh man, they're acting like everything is, all discombobulated. They know exactly what they're doing because look, 85%, 90% of the stocks that's being traded is done automatic. They go in and out. When the stock starts losing, they go somewhere else.
That's good for those billionaires, but it's also bad for these companies and stuff who are out there trying to make some money for themselves and for their employees.
That's
So
right. You're exactly
yeah,
right. You're exactly
because
right.
that's not good for them. That's the point that I was trying to make. It's not good for them to do that. But yeah, you are right. They got folks out there now, and this currency, this cryptocurrency, done dropped out of the sky here. So you got people out there who got billions of dollars and stuff now. They're buying this daggone cryptocurrency because eventually it's going to do what? It's going to go back up, and they're going to make huge amounts of money. But these businesses and stuff and the average person, they done lost a whole lot of money that they cannot afford to lose. They can't
Absolutely
afford to
right.
lose it. They can't afford to lose it. They done put them right back behind the 8 ball. They might have went bankrupt now, or they close to bankruptcy, or they all their profits and stuff and everything is
Well,
gone.
there's two things that people tell you when you invest in the stock market.
When
If
it's
you
down.
don't know those two things, then you're done. Number
Buy
one,
low, sell high.
no.
That's my thing. Buy low, sell high.
Yeah. That's a good motto. However, the thing is that diversify. That's one. And the second thing is don't put your money in there unless you can't afford to lose it. Don't put your money in there unless you can afford to lose it. Don't invest in a company if you can't afford to lose it. Because that company can go out of business, it can be bought out, it can whatever, bankruptcy. You go over there and you look at all the numbers and all the numbers look good, and somebody just stole a bunch of money, or somebody did this, or whatever, took a bunch of money out of the account because they sold all their shares. So those are the first two things. Yeah, buy low and sell high. But a lot of people don't have that time. A lot of people want to just sit on it. Well, those companies, man, there ain't too many companies. We already did a story on how many companies in the Fortune 500 that we have lost in the last 40 years. Major corporations. We did a story on that. We did a talk on that. And so now, right now, who are the most been around now? Lowe's, Microsoft, uh, Home Depot, uh, Apple. Those are the companies now that's around now, the major companies that's been around for a good 30, 40 years. So anyway, I'm putting too much knowledge out there.
No, you're not, because most of these folks and stuff, you're telling them something, and a lot of them don't even understand what the heck going on. That there are a bunch of scenarios that make people money, and you have to understand those different scenarios that make you money.
It's a
And
game, bro. It's a game.
it's a game, but there
And
are
you have
different
to be on top of it every day, every
every
minute of
day.
the
You
day.
got to be right there with it and understand what's
And
going on, because you don't understand what's going on, buddy.
it's
It
too
will.
complicated. It's so complicated that it's simplistic, but it's so complicated because there's so many things that's touching it. So many things.
Yeah, and 10 years ago or 15 years ago, when if you had to ask somebody, so what is credit default swap? They couldn't have told you what the heck it was. That's some crazy stuff. But
What is derivatives? They don't even know what
somebody,
derivatives is.
right? Somebody made a heck of a lot of money off of that when that stock market fell.
And we got a bunch of derivatives now going on right now.
Yeah, when that stock market fell, they
And
made
we
a
getting
lot of
in
money.
trouble because of it.
Oh yeah, and they made them folks who did that. They made some bets out there, and them bets paid off big time. Oh man! So some people can make a lot of money in a recession, and some people can make a lot of money in when there's inflation going on. You just got to know what to do in each one of those scenarios to
And
keep
I
on
say
making
good
money.
luck to them. People don't want to do that kind of stuff, because it takes
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Yep, it does, and you better be on top of it, because you miss it, you can lose a lot of money.
What else you got, Ed?
Man, we done talked about a lot already, Ted. A whole lot. I just realized and stuff that, well, I didn't realize it, but we knew that this trade war that's going on now with Canada and Mexico and the United States, it is creating a big deal and stuff, and a big problem and stuff for those countries and stuff out there. And I feel sorry, man, for the auto industry who get caught in the middle of this mess here. Those folks there and stuff, they are teetering on a whole lot of people losing their jobs and them staying in the status quo. And look like if this knucklehead keeps on with this mess here and holds on to that crazy stuff he's talking about, because every day, man, he's putting out some. How in the heck are you going to put 250% tariff on dairy products? When I saw that, I'm looking at this and said, what the hell is going on here? What's going on? And these Canadian people, I guess he figured he was going to break their backs, but he never thought about the fact that he done just united that whole daggone country against us. And he's doing the same thing down there in Mexico, but in a less slower manner. But in Canada, every one of them provinces is fighting them. What they got, 12 or 13 of them? I think it's 13 provinces up there. I'm pretty sure. And they all fighting us, and they all united. even though they got different premiers in each one of those provinces. And each one of them has got their own particular product that they're beating up the United States on. Poor farmers, they don't know what to do.
Well,
And
I don't feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for them, bro.
I do. I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them. But especially, I ain't talking about them big conglomerates now, Archer Daniel Midland and all them who bought them huge tracts of lands and stuff up there, and some of the other companies. I don't feel sorry for them at all. I just feel sorry for those poor farmers and stuff out there who banked on these Republicans and stuff to save them and to keep them up and going.
Well, there's a reason for that too, because although at one time we was an agrarian country, we have, and we've talked about this a number of times, what these people want to do is they want to build more houses, but those houses now, when they used to go for 250, 300,000, now they're going for 450, 500, and even $1 million houses, homes. And then those people that have that farmland, they want them to sell chunks of those farmland, so that they can build developments, new developments. And the reason why that is because we need to bring in, and this is why Trump is doing this, $5 million to get you a gold card. So those groups of people that come here, like if you get a cluster of Russian oligarchs or whatever, they're gonna build these big mansions for these people. And if you get groups of people from the South African network, then they're gonna want a house. They ain't gonna want to be living with Americans. They're gonna want to be living within themselves. And that's the game plan. The game plan is to shut a lot of these farmers down, these small farmers down, and sell plots of their land. And they're not going to give them full value of their property because they're going to be hurting for money because they're all in debt. It's a plot and a madness to their plan, bro.
Well, there's folks that making money in chaos, and the folks who don't have the money are the ones who wind up losing. But the folks who got the money wind up making money in chaos.
Well,
And the
this is
reason
where
why I
collectivity comes from.
yeah, well,
Collectivity.
the reason why I sit there and worry and talk about them and stuff, along with our folks too. I ain't throwing them. I ain't throwing those folks down in the dirt either. You know, we are collateral damage, and I guess the farmers are too. They're collateral damage, and they done got caught. And people have been farming, and you know also that they operate on a thin line. That they've had farm aid for as long as I can remember, just like they got food stamps and all the other stuff. And I'm pretty sure that's probably why they dumped food stamps into the farm aid bill, because it's all aid. It's all aid to them. So I'm looking at these farmers and stuff when I was younger, and they had these huge tracts of land and shit stuff out there, and the government said don't plant but so much, and the land that you don't plant in, we're gonna send you a check
Free money.
every year, every
Free
year,
money.
every year. They send them a check every year for not planting in their land. They do what they say do. We're gonna send you a check. And these farmers, over the years, over these decades, have gotten used to that check.
Billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars. They got used to them checks. But
That's how they live that high life, bro.
That's how they live high life. But they also had a hold on them that they always kept them on that edge because they always have to go out there and buy a new combine, got to buy a new planter, and them babies wasn't cheap. John Deere, Farm All were making big money off of them folks with them combines. Some of them farms out there were paying $750,000 for them combines and stuff 20 years ago. And each year they kept getting better and better and better. So they kept them on the edge. They gave them just enough money so they can stay afloat and think that they was okay. But they always kept them in debt, buying this farm equipment, buying all the other stuff they needed to plant crops with. And if the weather got bad and they couldn't get their crops out, they was in trouble. Or if they harvest the crop too soon, it's going to sit out there in the field because it's raining out there. Can't get to it. So they done lost all their money and they deeper in the hole.
Yeah.
But
You know, Ed, you know that I
they
was
lived off them checks.
Ed, I was a future farmer for 4
I
years.
know you was. You was a future effer of America.
For 4 years. Me, Carl Mosley, and Joby Mosley. We were
Yes,
the only
sir.
ones in
That's what
future farmers.
That's what y'all running around the school with them old blue corduroy jackets on with FFA on the back of them. I say, you look at them fools.
Hey, we used to go to them big farms, bro. They let us go there. They let us in the house now.
They let you in the house. You can't get in the house, but you can go there.
But they showed us everything. Combines, all that. And man, I said, wow, this is living here.
Yes, sir.
They had those big old, what they call them, silos.
Big silos and stuff, and they had them big blowers and heaters and stuff for them, and them 1,000-gallon propane tanks they were using to heat that daggone grain up. And
you know, their side hustle was hogs.
Oh yeah, hogs and some of them raised hay, alfalfa hay.
Yeah.
They raised that hay to feed the cows and stuff with. And a couple of them and stuff grew crops and stuff. They had some crops and stuff. Them Scotsman boys and stuff and Sigmas and stuff, they always had a crop of food. Watermelons, carrots, all that kind of stuff, cabbages and all that. And then they grew their name brand crop, gladiolas. You remember the gladiolas now. They had to have a gladiolas festival. But they had their farm aid going on. So I don't know, Ted. I guess I'm feeling sorry because I used to know them for a long time. They've been in my thing for a long time. But now to see them get dragged down and dragged down and dragged down, and I know that a lot of them probably going to lose their farms. By the time this over, they're not going to have them farms anymore. Somebody's going to be that came in and bought them out.
Yeah.
Buy them out.
That's the plan, bro. That's the
plan. Buy them out, and then
in order for us to get our food.
And then they'll own, those folks with the money will own the farm, and then they'll let them stay on their land.
Well, here's the thing, Ed. I'm going to throw something at you and to those farmers. I'm going to throw something at you. You know, the venture capitalists, you know, they always invested in different businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got enough multimillionaires and we got thousandaires and what have you. And these farmers need to go and start having a conference in the Black community and look for investors and start selling shares of their farm.
They're not going to do that.
No. Wait a minute. You say they're not going to do that.
But I understand what you're getting ready to say. Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
What I'm just saying is this better for Black people to invest in these farms and go there and set it up and where you can have partnership with black people or anybody. It can be anybody. I don't care, whatever. But the bottom line is they just do just enough, 51%, 49%, and build up that, and then you got cash coming in all the time. People investing. Now, how would they get their investment in return? That's the question.
Oh, yeah, I know
Because
how they get their investment in return. Anytime they made a profit on their crops and stuff every year, or when the government had them checks coming in, they count all that money up, and the profit and stuff is divided up amongst the 51 and the 49%. That's how they make their money.
so that's
And
all I'm saying.
at the
But
end of the
what
day,
these
at the
farmers,
end of the
they keep
day,
on
at the end of,
begging the government. If you
and
have a business, you have a legitimate business. You got 1,000 acres of land, and you can farm up to whatever 500 acres or whatever, and then maybe the other 500, maybe 400 you're not doing, and then another 100 just building, maybe growing crops,
mhm,
edible crops.
right. And maybe if the people in the urban areas and stuff want to come out, some of them older folks and stuff, we ain't got nothing else to do, bring them out there, and they can go out there and have them a garden out there. They got land, they got a garden, they can raise their food and stuff, go out there, and then they can produce enough food to feed them, their
The
families, or whatever
creativity
in the
is
city.
not the
Yeah,
creativity in the business world for black people is not creative.
it's not creative.
They need to start being more creative and getting more black people involved in their businesses and on a business term. But you're trying to you say, well, the government didn't give us our money, or the government didn't do this, and the government didn't do that. Hey, forget the government.
You waiting on the government. You waiting on the government, you're gonna be in trouble. You at the whim of the man.
And
Anytime
you
he
can't
wants to
farm
do
like the
something.
what? You can't farm like these 10,000 acre farmers. These people got 10, 20,000 acres of land, and here you are with 1,000 acres. If you get that much, you might have 600. And you need land to be cleared up so that you can farm more land. Get those people and start saying, okay, you're going to invest, then you're going to have to also do some labor. I mean, help us clear this land up so we can have more land to farm.
Or build some houses on them.
There you go. Now that's going to be an issue there because, Ed, you got to get a permit.
Well,
And that's
who
political.
owns the county governments?
That's what I say. That's political because they're going to say, oh, well, you can't do that. That's farmland, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
who owns the county government? Who owns the county government? Anyway, Ted, we getting close to the end, my brother. So we're gonna start trying to wind this baby down just a little bit here and everything, and discuss what the heck we've talked about. And hopefully there's somebody out there and everything will say, damn, that might be a good idea. That might be a good idea because Ted, doing what you've been doing in the past is not working anymore. So you got to do
No,
something else. You got to
you
do
got to get
something else.
creative, bro. You got to
You got
get
to be
creative. You
creative.
got to
You
get
got to do something
innovative. And these people are right now, you mentioned about the dairy and just a side piece. And we already said it. A lot of that stuff, man, they don't even need people to even milk these cows no more.
else.
They can do that stuff like boom, 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 and they got plenty of milk to sell. But you got to have buyers.
Right. Everything is automated. You got buyers and stuff because people drink milk. They're going to drink milk. They're going to eat dairy products. They're going to eat butter. They're going to eat whatever you make off of it. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. And man, we have allowed people or nations and stuff who got money to come into our country and to determine our wealth and our worth. Now, I don't blame China from coming in here and telling these farmers because of they're using them to whoop up on the president. I don't blame them for doing that because that's business and stuff for their country, and they're looking out for their people. Now, this is the second time they have came into this country and done this. So I'm saying to you farmers and stuff out there, you should not put yourself in a position where somebody can do this to you. Figure out some other kind of way to deal with them. They shouldn't be able to come into your country and tell you, we're not buying your grain, we're not buying your soybean because we mad at your president. And you're going to sit down there and be crying about this whole daggone thing that these people are not buying our soybean. I don't know what to do. Well, I'm looking at them, and somebody should have been out there dealing with this president who decided that he wanted to get rid of U.S. aid. And tell this son of a gun and knock him upside the head and say, hey, man, that's our money you messing with. We can feed more people. They're not buying it. We can feed more people. All you got to do is buy more grain and give it away to these folks out there and who are starving to death. There's no reason to stop, Ted, why there people in this world should be starving, especially in Africa. No reason at all. And you got grain sitting on the ground rotting.
They're a one-horse pony, bro. These farmers are a one-horse pony. And because they was getting those subsidies all those years, and so they're going to just keep on doing what they're doing because they know they're going to get money. Growing what they tell them to grow.
There's no reason why children in this country should be hungry. And you got food on the ground. Well, that's all I got to say, Ted. I'm just upset here. I'm upset. You got stuff on the ground and you got people hungry. In this country, you got folks hungry.
Well,
somebody needs to stand up. You got some folks out there, ready-made folks. Stand up.
I'm going to say this, and I'll have this conversation. What's wrong with Africa? 54 countries. Got all the resources in the world. 54 countries. But the only thing is they got over hundreds and thousands of languages, different languages. And they allow the white folk to feed their children just because they are from the other part of the nation. What's wrong with Africa? This is a crime. They got to depend on the YT people, our tax dollars, for white folks to take care of their babies. And a lot of those countries are doing very, very well. Because there's a lot of smart Africans.
Very smart people over there.
What is the wrong with the continent of Africa? Shame on them. That's what I say. Because, a lot of those countries, they war with each other and stuff. They battle and try to keep all different kinds of, keep their own, some other people come from another country. They don't want them in their country neither. So, that's all I got to say. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to still talk about war because I'm leading up to something. War. Who wants it? What good is it? Absolutely nothing.
What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. War. Hey, people, we've enjoyed ourselves today. I hope you enjoyed the show. You guys know that you guys can look at and just open your browser up and point toward us and put their URL in your address and say, hey, I'm going to listen to Ted and Ed talk some crap. And we ain't gonna stop talking.
You can talk trash on the doggone chat room.
Yeah, we got it. Hey, and don't forget, people. Tomorrow night, the Black Senator here in the state of Georgia, Reverend Warnock, is having a town hall type Zoom meeting and stuff out there. Go to Reverend Warnock's website, people, and check him out. See what the heck's going on. We got a senator here in our state and everything, a Democratic senator who's running for re-election, and he needs our help. He's sitting out there all by himself right now, and he needs somebody out there to help him and everything because he has an election and stuff coming up this next election cycle. So he's out there. You're gonna have to give me them. If you don't have any money, don't give me the money. Just support him. Let him know that he got your support. And it doesn't matter if you're in Georgia, you can be in Florida, you can be in California. Support this brother. He's a brother from another mother. And he's Jewish. So check out Reverend Warnock tomorrow evening. I think it's at 8:00. So go onto his website, find out where it's at, and do RSVP. And the more people and stuff there to sit down and talk about what's going on, the better. And some of you folks out there should be out there supporting my girlfriend, Jasmine Crockett. I have to give it to girlfriend.
They calling everything but a child of God.
She giving them hell.
They calling her a
she giving them hell.
They calling her a ghetto hoe. They calling her.
But she giving them hell, and she don't care. She's giving them hell. She has no fear. So, hey, I support girlfriend, even though she's not in my district. She's way over there in Dallas, Texas. But daggone it, she cares about everybody in this daggone country. White, black, whatever, Hispanic or whatever. She cares about all of them. Don't let them stop her voice, people. Don't let them do it because they are known to break folks down, find their weaknesses, and break them down. Anyway, you people, have a good day. Bye-bye.